Hey everyone, welcome back to your podcast, our podcast, the Popular Side Podcast. And as always, he's Yinka Yusuf,
Hello, people.
and I'm Akin Adike. Yinka, how's it going?
Yes, boss. I'm good. You?
Yeah, good. We are recording on a Sunday evening, the 6th of October.
October. Yeah.
I haven't watched a ton of games over the weekend, and some are still going on right now. So we have a
Yeah.
lot to talk about.
A lot to talk about.
It's also the last Sunday before yet another, also whatchamacallit, international break.
International
Unnecessary.
break.
I mean, most leagues have played no more than 9 games and already gone on 2 international breaks. I don't know who set up these, you know, I don't know who set up this situation, but it makes no sense to me.
It is what it is. We'll dive into that. I think we have a
Yeah,
topic
we
around
need
that
to.
later on.
Yeah, we do.
So,
We
what are
do.
you wearing? I like your top.
You do? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't show you this before, right? So this is a brand that I discovered on Facebook. +234. Obviously, +234 is the Nigerian
Nigerian code.
phone code or whatever.
Yeah.
So I like
International
it.
calling code.
Yeah, so they made this green, old school Nigerian jersey, like a football jersey. It's like short and wide, like this things used to be, with kind of longish sleeves, longish short sleeves. So I like it, and then so I bought this. But here's the thing: I paid for this like 2 months ago, and it just came in like like yesterday. So I actually emailed them like, "Hey, what's up? I want to support and everything." But they said they had some hitches and stuff.
I like the fact that you are being patriotic.
I am. I try to be.
I like the fact that you're being patriotic and you're repping Nigeria. And I'm the complete opposite because I'm wearing Orlando Pirates, South Africa.
Yeah. I'm Pan African, so I'm okay. I can't knock it. I can't knock it. South Africa is one of my many countries. I have family in South Africa, so it's all good. It's all good.
Bro, what do we have?
All right, let's get straight into it. We're gonna review the top 5 leagues like we always do. This was a Champions League week, so we're gonna review that as well. For those who have been watching us the last 2 weeks, you see we've made a slight shift to mostly just doing our review and preview around topics and themes going on in the league, and not just giving you a breakdown of so and so beat somebody 10-0 or whatever, right? Just to make it a little more interesting. So that's what we're gonna do today as well. Okay, so let's start with the English Premier League.
Let's start with the Champions League.
Oh, why do I always do this? We literally just talked about this, and I already forgot.
That came first. Yeah. So let's
and I already forgot that was what we decided. All right. Yes. So let's start with the UEFA Champions League. There were games on Tuesday and Wednesday this week. Thankfully, Inca, there was no games on Thursdays. I don't understand that Thursday Champions League game, but okay, we move on.
So I think that week there were no UEFA, the other ones,
no Europa, no Europa.
So they spread across those 3 days. I think subsequently it's going to be just Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah. So before we get into it, Yinka, let's do a quick check-in. How are you feeling about the format now?
So the purpose of setting up, or one of the reasons why I decided to do this is because they thought we're not getting high profile games. Yeah. So I'm going to read out the fixtures for this week that just passed. And please just let me know which one of this you will consider a high profile game. So bear with me.
Okay.
So match day 2, you had Salzburg Brest. Is that high profile?
Brest has won 2 in a row. Don't knock it. I'm just kidding.
Nah. Yes or no, please? Yes or no?
No,
Purely yes
no,
or no?
no, no, no,
Stuttgart,
no, no.
Praha,
No, Stuttgart is good, but Prague, no. Okay.
Dortmund, Celtic,
On paper, yes. In reality, what was it? 7-1?
7-1. 7-1.
Dortmund.
PSV Sporting,
In
Man City,
1988, in the 1988, yes. 1988, yes.
Man City, Bratislava,
Absolutely not. A
Barcelona
training
Young
session.
Boys,
No.
Barcelona Young
Mm-mm.
Boys,
No, no.
Leverkusen, Milan, maybe.
Should be. Should be.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
Milan
Yeah,
has decided they don't want to win any games this season. So
I give you one. I'll give you
yeah.
one. That's 1 out of 7 right now. Inter
Ouch.
Vrena Zvezda or whatever their name is.
If you don't know what country they're in, it's not high
Or
profile.
the name, then it's not high
On the name.
profile. Arsenal PSG, I'll make that
Yes.
2.
Absolutely.
Shakhtar Atlanta, hell no.
No.
Girona Feyenoord,
No.
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 Benfica Atletico Madrid.
Yes, absolutely. No, absolutely. Benfica is a European great.
Okay,
Atletico.
I'll give you that.
You know.
That makes 3.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
Liverpool Bologna.
No. No. Mm-mm. No.
Leipzig Juventus.
No. We both love Leipzig, but no.
Lille Madrid.
No. Leon maybe, but Leo no.
Sturm Club Brugge.
No, of course not. Of course not.
Dynamo Zagreb Monaco.
Absolutely not.
Villa Bayern.
Again, if it was the 80s.
So okay, I'll give you that.
So that's two matchups. 2.5.
This is 2.5, 3. Let's say 3.
Wow, that's not good.
What exactly? What I don't get. I still don't like it. As of last week, I didn't like it. This week that just passed, still not liking it.
Wow.
But I guess the excitement will come towards the tail end. Yeah. And that's what I picture. When the games are few and there are just a few games left, and you have a club like, let's say, an Arsenal that is about to miss out of the whole thing, or miss out of the qualifiers, right? Maybe then it will look interesting, because now I'm looking at the table. There's nobody that is in trouble. So the teams that are below the qualification slots is from 25th to 36 right now is Stuttgart, Bologna, Shakhtar, Dynamo, Leipzig, Girona, Sturm Graz, Milan, Young Boys. The only team, or the 2 teams I see in here that I say, what are you doing here? Is probably just Leipzig and Milan.
And Milan, yeah. They haven't won. Yeah.
So
no, I'm so glad you brought it up, because to be honest, I haven't taken a step back and looked at the whole picture. And if you had asked me, like, hey, gun to my head, I would have said there would be more high profile fixtures. I would have bought the narrative. But now, breaking it down the way you did, I'm like, there really isn't. There really isn't.
And even if you look at the future games coming up, maybe next week is better, or next round. You have a Barcelona Bayern coming up next round. Maybe that sounds exciting. That's the only one also. Okay, you have the repeat of last year's final, which is Madrid Dortmund coming up. Maybe that. Those are the 2 games that look enticing here. Every other one is rubbish.
Wow, that's terrible. That's terrible. Okay, well, at least we know how you feel. So
you know how I feel.
All right.
Anyway, so moving on.
That was actually going to be our second topic, but I just started with that because I'm like, hey, we haven't done a quick health check on Yinka on this one in a while. So let's do that.
Perfect.
Right. So something else came up. I think you and I texted about this when we just found out. I woke up in the morning on Monday, and I'm like, hey, Sky is telling me that, the plane taking, taking
PSG.
PSG to London did not have What a Pity Dembele on it. What is going on?
What a pity.
And then you tell me that, oh, it's not a rumor, that someone actually put a mic on Luis Enrique, and he said, yeah, it's for disciplinary purposes. So, do you think this was a mistake?
So, given the outcome of the game,
Yeah.
and the fact that PSG kind of looked, can I say toothless? Almost toothless
Mm.
against Arsenal. Yes, I would say that was a mistake. But the only caveat I'll say is that I'll put in there is I don't know what the offense was. And you and
Mm.
I, we know the way Luis
Yeah.
Enrique is.
And we
It
also
could
know the way
be
Dembele is.
exactly. It could be something as minor as probably the young man laughing when Enrique was serious in a training session or something, right? And then he decides he goes mad. I'm like, I'm dropping you. We don't have the details, right?
Mm.
I've tried to find out what exactly happened, but nobody seems to be saying precisely what happened. But I
Mm.
understand he has then apologized and is actually in the squad
Mm.
that is playing currently. I think
Okay.
PSG is playing right now. It was 1-1 earlier on. I don't know what the final result. Well, it's still 1-1. 1 minute ago. But I hear is in the squad for the game. But see, I get all this. You trying to be disciplined.
Mm.
I like it. I mean, if you start overlooking things, you're eroding your culture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And once you lose your culture, you've lost everything. Culture is everything.
Mm.
Culture is your identity. Culture is what makes you who you are.
Mm.
So yeah, Luis Enrique. The only reason why I'm saying I have a bit of a problem with it is I know the kind of person Luis Enrique is. It could be for something so minute, yeah. But he had options against Arsenal, and I still look at it and I'm like, yeah,
Okay.
you could have done you could have Dembele could have contributed more than the people that you had in there on that particular day. But PSG, where they are on the table right now, I don't think they're suffering that much.
Yeah.
Like I said, the game is not a significant game per se, so you can afford to drop. So
So,
as long as
but
Enrique is happy, all good.
so it's a good segue to like maybe the game itself. What
Yeah.
did you think about the game itself, Yinka?
So the game just kind of I look at PSG and I'm like, you guys are just local champions. Number one, I did not like the setup from Luis Enrique
Okay,
at
say
all.
more. Okay.
He he could have. I believe he could have done better. So he had Fabian Ruiz on the bench, which was very
Yeah.
very odd, right? For
He
me,
came in
I
later,
thought that
right?
was
He came
very.
in later.
He came. Yeah,
Yeah.
he came in later. And up front, I'm trying to pick out the lineup. Aha. And up front, he started Desire Doué, who is very good footballer, but he's a teenager. And I think that's
Yeah.
probably his first start for PSG. I'm not sure, but it's most likely his first start for PSG. Then he
Mm.
started the South Korean Lee,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And with Bradley Bakula. And
Backcourt,
in
yeah.
midfield, there was really no defensive midfielder. You think Vitinha has that tendency to play defensive midfield? He's not
To
really a defensive
No,
midfielder.
he can be like a poor man's Busquets. Can be. But you wouldn't look at Busquets and say he's there for defense now. He's there to recycle
Exactly.
the ball. Yeah,
Exactly. So he played
yeah,
more or less three flat midfielders:
yeah,
João
yeah.
Neves, Zaire Emery, and Vitinha, right?
Mm.
And he had on the bench, he had Fabian Ruiz that I thought should have started.
Mm-hmm.
And also up front, I wasn't really a fan of Kangli being the striker. It could have been
Yeah.
Randall Kolomwani. But actually,
Who
there's
also
something I
came in?
really
Who also came in
who
later?
also came
Yeah.
in. Yeah, but there's something I really need to say. We did a
Okay.
segment 2 or 3 weeks ago around overrated players. You and I missed
Ooh.
someone that we should have put in there. and
Not
it is
Kolomwani.
not Kolomwani. It's the PSG goalkeeper Donnarumma.
Oh,
How
yes.
how I
Yes.
missed it and you
Yes.
missed it
Yes.
is
No, 1000%. 1000%. So, Nika, before you go on, one of the commentators here said, this man is about 7 feet tall. He's not. He's exaggerating. And couldn't, like, look, the first goal that Arsenal scored, our versus 6'3", but Donnarumma is taller than 6'3". I don't know exactly how tall he is,
it
but
is.
he didn't even jump. Like, he got bullied and he's twice the size of Havertz, but he didn't even jump. I mean, he makes mistakes with his feet. He doesn't use his feet. He can't use his feet. So forget that one. And then he just makes other silly mistakes as well. He's not a leader. He doesn't really organize his defense. And he makes a lot of money.
A lot of money. And for someone that was touted the next Buffon,
Yeah, he was supposed to be.
come on.
Yeah.
I've given him the benefit of the doubt too many times, and I'm looking at him and I'm like, you're just an
Yeah.
average Joe. You're not a good goalkeeper. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But
you always say something, Yinka, when we're talking about young talent. You talk about some youth will just mature very early, right? And then they stay flat or they improve a little bit going forward, right?
yeah,
I
yeah,
think he might be, because goalkeepers usually don't get good until like 26, right?
yeah.
And then
Mm-hmm.
they get even better, right? And they can still continue to be better into their 30s, And
Yeah,
even back in the day when players were done at 30, we had people like Dino Zoff who were playing at 42, Peter Shilton. It was
absolutely.
because
Yeah,
goalkeepers don't run. They don't run, they
yeah.
don't break legs, they don't do any of that. So they didn't even need the advanced medical science we have now to play deep
Mm-hmm.
into their 30s. So you
Absolutely.
had a chance to really mature. So Donnarumma stood out because it was good at 17, it was good at 18, it was good at 19. It
Yeah.
was as good as your average 26-year-old goalkeeper. So did we
Mm-hmm.
overrate him because we accounted for his age? We would,
I think
and
so.
I think that's
I
what
think
happened.
so.
Yeah.
I think so. Perfect point. But to
Yeah.
add to that also, maybe when he started playing, there was little emphasis on, goalkeeper being able to use their feet very well
Absolutely.
or joining the
Absolutely.
game. I think the guy is clumsy.
Yeah.
He's
He
very
hasn't
clumsy.
improved. He hasn't
He,
improved at all.
he
Yeah,
hasn't.
it's actually kind of amazing.
I think there are
It's,
better goalkeepers in Italy
oh
than
yeah.
him,
Yeah.
and he shouldn't be Italy's number one goalkeeper. But enough of bashing Donnarumma, right?
Okay.
Quick flip to Arsenal in that game.
Okay. Go for it.
Kai Havertz. We'll talk more about him when we talk about Arsenal later. But Kai has now scored 7 goals in 7 games back to back at the Emirates,
Yeah.
equaling Robin van Persie's um, scoring record. His movement, like you and I have said, the Arsenal's first goal against PSG, just tells you exactly how intelligent he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, his movement is elite. If his finishing could just be 50% of his movement, you will have one of the best. You have one of the best strikers, in world football. His movement is something else. Yeah. Um, and Bakola versus what's his name, Uren Timber. I thought it was going to be a big thing. Uren Timber pocketed Bakola. Uren Timber is a fantastic player.
He's a great defender.
If he
He
can,
really
if he
is a
can,
great
if he can
defender.
stay
Yeah.
fit, he's
Yeah.
really solid. Yeah.
Okay. So one quick thing. There's another record. Number of consecutive games that Arsenal players scored at home. Henry has the record 8. So I don't know the number of goals, but just number of games consecutively scored. So Havertz is 1 away from that record. Right. So I think that's also important. And then another one I saw, you can do anything with statistics, Shinka. You know this.
Yeah.
So people are breaking down Havertz's season into two. There was when he was a left eight, and then in January of this year when he became a striker for Arsenal.
Yeah.
So now they're giving us the calendar year numbers, which is always dangerous when you start doing that. But in calendar 2024, and then they're going, this is where you know someone is stretching. They're now going one step further. They're like goals and assist numbers, right? So for goals and assists, and then they took it even one step further, take out the penalties. So they're saying that if you take out the penalties and you add the goals and assists, he has as many as your boy Erling Haaland, 19.
Yep.
Or something like that for calendar 2024. So apparently he's now equal to Erling Haaland. Congratulations, Arsenal. You know, people are crazy, Inka. That's all I'm trying to say.
People are crazy.
You know, you can't look at Havertz and say he's exactly like Haaland. You know, it's insane. Haaland is one of one. You know,
it's insane. It's very insane. However, right?
Yeah,
there's no smoke without fire.
That's very true.
So to some extent, I would not look at it as them trying to equate Havertz to Haaland. It's just to say he's been a success or he's been well, right? Because a lot of people look at it and they'd be like, nah, he's just one. Yeah. He's just, you still need a striker, no?
Absolutely.
You know? But I get what you're saying. He's nowhere near Haaland. Let's stop that nonsense.
You know who's had more goals and assists than one non-penalty goals and assists than both of them though in 2024?
That would probably be Saka or Palmer.
Cole Palmer.
Yeah.
Saka hasn't scored enough goals. Palmer has scored just an incredible number of goals, and a lot of it is penalties. But if you take out the penalties and add the assists, it's still up there. So it's because of the assists with Palmer.
Yeah.
That's what makes, because again, for me, I don't give you credit for scoring penalties. I just refuse to do that.
No.
You know, so, you should score penalties.
There's also one other perspective to it, Aki.
Yeah.
I know we're going off tangent, but let's just, There's one perspective to it. If you're on set pieces, you will definitely get the assist.
Okay, so that's fair. So Saka gets that because of
Saka gets that. Cole Palmer gets that. Right,
that's fair.
Because he's perpetually on set pieces. Yeah,
but you have to be good at set pieces. Your teammates have to be good at set, and your delivery has to be impeccable. You know,
there are plenty of people on set pieces that don't have one assist now.
Yeah, that's very true.
There are plenty of people on set pieces that don't have.
But that's fair. That's fair. It's harder to get the assist than to score the penalty. I think that's
absolutely
fair.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I totally agree.
Inka,
yes, sir.
I haven't said all that. Cole Palmer is sneaky old for how we want to treat him as a little baby. How old is Cole Palmer?
I don't know. 20, 21, 22?
He's not that young. Let me see. Let's do a little fact check.
He can't be that old. Come on now.
Okay, let's see. 22.
22.
22. He's not as young as people want to make him.
Yeah.
This is neither here nor there, but Saka is 23. Havertz himself is 25. You know, Havertz looks like he's been playing forever. You know, just sometimes you get lucky, you get into the first team, you know, matter early. Havertz has been a disappointment like 3 times over. You know, and he's still only 25. You know, Jadon Sancho, is Sancho even 25?
It's probably 24, 25.
I think it's 24. You know,
it's probably 24, 25.
It's 24. You know, but you look at him and is a disappointment. And he's only 2 years older than Palmer in the same system. They both came from City. He's just 2 years older than, you know. So it's amazing how you look at people, you know, just because someone was in a city system, didn't really go out on any big loans, you know, and then agitate to leave, you know, and then when he left, he had immediate success. You know, so you look at him and you say, "Oh, look at what he's doing at 18." But he's not 18. He's 22.
He's not 18. He's not 18
you know?
at all. He's not 18 at all. Anyway.
All right. So, Yinka, before we leave the Champions League, is there any other thing that happened in the Champions League that you would like to talk about?
Villa. Villa Bayern. I watched the game. I enjoyed it. I
I'm
enjoyed the
sure you
game,
did.
right?
I'm
It
sure you
was
did.
very open. Vincent Company came into that game with today's game against second placed Eintracht Frankfurt in
Yeah.
mind.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of affected his starting lineup. So Musiala didn't start. Yeah. There was also someone else. Olise started, but he started in middle. Serge Gnabry on the right. Kingsley Coman on the left. Musiala and someone else didn't start. I can't remember who it was, right? But you could see Kane played, right? Kane played. But Villa, on the other hand, that is Villa's game of the season.
Yeah. That was the World Cup final, Super
That was
Bowl,
everything.
FA Cup
Yeah.
final, Champions League final, everything.
And that is the first home Champions League home game in Villa Park in years.
Yeah.
Years. So I understand that the game was very, very, was very, very crucial for Villa and Emery. Villa, they thought they scored in the first half. Pau Torres had the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah.
It was ruled out for VAR. Then this young man, what's his name?
John
Duran came
Duran.
on in
Yeah.
this. John Duran, who just came out of the Blues from your MLS, right?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
understand a lot of people were
Was
after
it
him. Which club was he with in MLS? Was it?
was
Was
it
it?
I want to say Sacramento, but is that even a MLS club or a USL
Was it
club?
Cincinnati or Colorado?
Let's see. John,
Anyway,
keep going. I will find it.
so John Duran came on and he scored what, in my opinion, was a very, very, very smart, very, very intelligent goal. Yeah,
Amazing. Amazing.
John Duran he did not look up to see that Neuer was off his line.
No.
If you notice, I watched the replay like 4 times. This young man did not look up to look at Neuer and say, "Oh, you're off." It was instinct, and he loved Neuer without knowing that he loved him. Yeah, so it's either he's a genius or he's damn lucky. I don't know which it is, but the young man now coming off the bench, I think he has 6 or 7 goals this season already.
And it's barely
And
played. It's
he's
barely
barely
played,
played.
Yinka.
Meanwhile, on the other hand, Watkins, who's been
Yeah.
playing all the games, he's not hitting the heights of last season. He is not
Yeah.
delivering like he was delivering last season. So my question to you, Akin, if you were to
Hmm.
be Unai Emery, what
Yeah.
would you do? Would you drop one
Okay.
for the other, or will you go a two-pronged attack? What would you do?
Okay. So first, let's tell our people who John Duran is. So he's a 20-year-old Colombian striker. You're right. It wasn't MLS. We weren't sure where, but it's the Chicago Fire.
I knew it
He
was a
was
C.
with them.
I knew it was
Yeah,
a C.
Chicago
I
Fire.
said Cincinnati.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, he didn't. I'm not gonna say he lit the MLS on fire, but sometimes that
No, no,
happens.
no. He did not.
But
He did not.
he didn't. He was there about 2+ years, I think. I think they paid 1.5 million pounds for him or dollars. I don't know. And Villa got him for like 15 million pounds. I mean, in today's world, that's not a ton. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Yinka, is goals per minute or minutes per goals, however you want to do your fractions, is crazy. It's insane.
Ridiculous.
So I was telling you, Yinka, and I'm gonna answer your question, but I was telling you when he came on to the CBS interview, and Kate and Henri were conducting the interview with him in Spanish. And then, of course, the two buffoons,
Clowns.
the two clowns, went on their Google Translate and were trying to ask questions in Spanish, and it was the most hilarious thing. And this man would be like, he started it. I don't know what you're talking about because they were trying. Can you imagine Jamie Carragher, and Michael Richards trying to read Spanish on live TV? No, this guy's they've hit some gold mine with this show. It's unbelievable,
I'm telling you,
but
they are.
but Kid Abdul, she's just impressive to me how multilingual she is. And even Henri, I'm
Yeah.
like, at least Kate Abdul went to school. Henri didn't go to anybody's school. He can literally switch from French to English to Spanish to
Spanish,
Italian,
Italian.
and in a pinch, some Portuguese. It kind of reminds me of Kobe Bryant. It's just so impressive. I would play both of them. Villa are not good enough to have either of them on the bench. It's that simple. I don't care who you bench. You play both of them. And because the thing is, you can't trust this guy yet. He's still only 20. I don't think he's turned 21 yet. You can't trust him to carry the load for a team that has designs on a championship run, a title run, right? So you play both of them, and they can do the big little thing because he's bigger. Watkins is a smaller guy, and Watkins can drift right or left. Durant, I saw him today. He was coming from the left against Man U. So they have the flexibility. I would play both of them.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I'll do same also.
Yeah.
I think the reason why was Morgan, this Samson, I think that's his name, the midfielder that plays for Villa, that plays camp for them. He started the season on fire, yeah, but his performances have dropped in recent times. So yeah, I agree with you. I'll play the two of them. At least experiment that. See how it goes. And but Emery will always play his 4-3-3. I don't think he's going to change.
And the crazy thing, Inkai, is coming into the summer, the consensus was Watkins was untouchable because they're going into the Champions League. They don't need money. Their owners are filthy rich, and they were gonna say they were gonna put like 150 million pounds on it, and would not let him go for less than 100 million because they don't need money, and he's that good. And nobody came for him because he was already 28. So Watkins looks like a kid, but he's already 28. He was at Brentford with David Raya, slumming it over there. So he's not young. So I feel like if you bench him, you start to devalue him very, very quickly. So if you know he's not your future, you have to sell him right away. You have to sell him in January. You have to sell him in the summer, or you're not going to get anything for him. You're going to have, what's the guy's name that went to Saudi? You're going to have that situation on your hands. The guy from Brentford.
You're
going to have a Tony situation on your hands when you personally devalue your own asset, which makes no sense.
Yeah.
All right. Are we done with the Champions League?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So let's move on to the week that was in Europe's top 5 leagues. Yinka, we have the gift that just keeps on giving. In Manchester United. We spent so much time talking about them last week. And then apparently they felt that wasn't enough. So they went into the Europa League, which I refuse to watch. And apparently they did I know they did a madness out there. So tell the people what they did, and then let's talk about a question that came up in our little friend group where we were debating whether Man U were underachieving. There were some people of the opinion that Man U and Spurs have pretty much the same squad. Obviously that was before Spurs threw away a 2-goal lead on the road today. And that the difference between them was coaching. Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah.
United threw away a 2-goal lead against Porto. So,
they did.
It's what they do. They're similar,
Yeah.
So,
but you can how did Porto end up in the Europa? They came third. I was thinking about it. They came third in Portugal. Does Portugal not get more than 2 in the Champions League?
No.
Wow.
Portugal don't get more than 2. If you give them more than 2, no, they don't.
Really?
No, they don't.
So they're treated more like the Dutch, I guess. So you get top 2.
Dutch, is it even top 2 for Dutch? I can check. Sure. But yeah, Portugal don't get 3. Portugal don't get 3.
That's very interesting.
They get 2.
That's very interesting. I would argue they should get 3, Inka.
But the 2 that have been doing well for them is always Porto and Benfica.
Yeah, right? But Sporting,
Lisbon is the one that bounced Porto off the top 2. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
So they I think they deserve, if there is a league that deserves a third spot,
It
I'll
would be.
actually give
Yeah.
it to Portugal ahead of Netherlands. Frankly, I
Yeah.
think Netherlands
Yeah.
Swiss too. Yeah, but I
Wow.
we can
It's
double
interesting.
check that later on.
Okay.
Anyway, so the United Porto game, United started off with a false sense of success, in the sense that they scored 2 goals that the Porto keeper was at fault on.
Mm.
Well, at fault at for both goals. They were saves that he should make. Yeah,
Mm.
and I know this goalkeeper. You remember this guy Asmil Begovic that used to
Oh, of course.
play.
How can I forget? How can I Stoke? It was at Stoke.
Stoke.
How can
Yeah.
I
So
forget?
he was on. It was on a
Good goalkeeper.
podcast.
Yeah.
Good goalkeeper. It was in a podcast recently, and he said, "Guys, stop killing goalkeepers, but getting beat
At their near
at their
post.
side, at the near
Yeah.
post. That is just
Yeah.
it's just nonsense rhetoric that you people that don't know nothing about goalkeeping talk about, right? It's not worse if you get beat on the far side. Or it's not worse if you get beat at the near post than the far side. You know, he kind of debunked that, and I think I kind of agree with it. But this
Mm.
goalkeeper, the Porto goalkeeper, got bit. The 2 saves he should have made, the balls trickled in, so no problem. United were on a high, 2 goals. Then Porto started, and Porto
Mm.
took over the game. Yeah, and this Nigerian boy, plays for Spain
Yeah.
now.
Samuel
Omorodion.
Amorodion, yeah. Or
Yeah,
Samu, as they call him, Samu.
Samu Omorodion.
Mm.
Samu took over, and Samu killed United for like 70 minutes. And his Porto guys. United didn't have anything going for them. Porto took over, right? And Porto they were costing. They were almost gonna win the game. This guy got sent off again. What's his name? Their captain, Bruno Fernandes. I think that sending off was a bit harsh, but it was a second yellow, it wasn't a direct red, so he got sent off. Then they brought in Harry Maguire, and United decided to go to the English route, which was kick and follow. They got a corner
Yeah.
kick, and Maguire. I mean, you see the Porto players; they're small. Yeah, the guy they told to mark Maguire was like half his height. I'm like,
Hmm.
what's this? Maguire tired over, nodded the ball in, and the game ended 3-3. Now,
Ah,
um,
Lord.
I look at that game and I'm like, Porto is a good side, yeah. And forget the score, forget the score line, forget the scores. To look at the overall game in itself, Porto should have won that game convincingly. United did not, do enough, in my opinion. So that was on Thursday, yeah.
Yeah.
Then fast forward to today, I think they gave a better account of themselves today against Villa, yeah.
Mm.
In the sense that they realize if we come here and want to play open, beautiful football, these guys will beat the living life out of us.
Mm.
So they came in, they were a bit disciplined, a bit more disciplined today than they
Mm.
usually are. Um, if you look at the lineup, for example, you know, it's almost the same, but it's almost the same way, but I think it's more or less the emphasis from the coach. I think maybe
Mm.
Ten Hag learned a lesson. And Johnny Evans, old guy, Maguire, old, both of them, they gave a good account of themselves. And I also thought Villa, on the other hand, maybe they were still basking in the euphoria of beating Bayern. They didn't bring their A game. So it was a drab game earlier on today. But going back to your question, whether United are underachieving,
Mm.
right, with the current squad, I can actually believe that they are.
Mm.
Because if they aren't, even the United fans will look at Eric Ten Hag and say, okay, you have injuries, you have, we'll give you some breathing room. But with
Mm.
the current players that they have, Akin, Hoyland was hunted by everybody. He wasn't just United.
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
wanted him,
Yeah.
right? Rashford, we've seen the best of Rashford. So what
So
happened to him?
sad.
Why isn't he there? We've seen the best of Bruno Fernandes, right? I don't. But anytime I'm talking about United, I like taking Kobe Mino and Garnacho out of the equation. These guys are punching above their weight. They're doing very well, right? But if you look at the back line also, they have a decent back line. It's just that a lot of the players are injured. Harry Maguire is still the starting centre back for England, whether you like it or
Well,
not.
not under this new coach. He didn't get called. Yeah.
But
You
you get
know,
my point.
I hear
And if
you.
you look at their bench, today, they had De Ligt on the bench. That's a Dutch international. Joshua Zexi was on the bench. He's a Dutch international.
Yes, it
Casemiro
is.
is a Brazilian international, multi Champions League Spanish. Although he's past his prime, I get it.
Yeah.
Anthony's on the bench. He's a Brazilian international. Lisandro Martinez was on the bench. He's an Argentine international. Amad Diallo is on the bench. For me, he should be started. Diallo is good enough to start. And you have Manuel Ugarte, who's an Uruguayan international.
It's really good. I like him a lot. Yeah.
I like him. So this United team, Akin, in my opinion, they are way, way better, right, than the league position they are. They've only had 8 points this season, sitting on the goal difference of -3. On paper, there's no difference between these United. You can't tell me Brighton have a better team than United, even with the injuries. You can't tell me Fulham have a better team than United, even with the injuries. So so right now you're saying Bournemouth has a better team than United. Bournemouth, because they're ahead of United on the table. So in my opinion, forget all the injuries and stuff. They are underachieving significantly. And this goes back to my issue with Ten Hag. I think there are two things, yeah, when it comes to coaching. Some people are good when it comes to just technical coaching a game, coaching players and stuff like that. The modern coach is required to do two things. In some other clubs, they give that second responsibility to the technical advisor to the sporting director, or in some cases, it's split between the two of them. There is team building and there's the coaching itself. I'm not talking about team building in terms of interrelationships. No, I'm saying how you construct your squad.
Yeah.
Eric Ten Hag, if team construction were to be a course in school, the guy would have got an F.
Oof. Ouch.
He would have got an F. Because it's obvious to me that whatever success he had in Ajax was just complete fluke.
Yeah, it was structural. I mean, Ajax, you're never starting with the cupboard bare, as they say, yeah.
So if you believe the only way you can succeed is to go back to that old club and go pluck people at ridiculous amounts, and you can't even go there to pluck the right people, because you saw Kudus there, didn't you? You didn't pluck him. You plucked Anthony.
That's true.
Right? So from that perspective, from a club structuring perspective, he's an F for him. Now for the coaching itself, Akin, yeah, you and I had a problem with Wenger because of this.
Absolutely.
You need to go into every game with a different game plan. You can't just go and say, I'll play the way I want to play, whatever happens. No, you don't do that. And a lot of people are abusing, what's his name, Mikel Arteta now, because he's not doing that. Arteta is game planning by sections, even in a game. He can tell you, okay, the next 5 minutes we're locking down. Oh, the next 5 minutes we need to ramp it up. So if I'm doing that within a game, how can I now have a coach that can do that for the whole? Do you understand what I'm saying? So that means when you're having your training sessions, you should game plan for anything and everything. You should game plan for when we need to lock down defensively. You should game plan for, this is how we offensively play. Before every match, you should say, we're playing Chelsea today, right? Chelsea, their fullbacks their wingers don't come back on defense, right? So when we're on the offense, my left back, you coach, it's called situational coaching. But I don't think Ten Hag does that. And he's so deluded about this whole stuff. So to answer your question in simple terms, Aki, it's simple. Based on the squad that they have, Eric Ten Hag should be doing way better than he is in the league. He should be. I don't see a difference between this squad and Spurs squad. I'm sorry. It's almost the same thing.
So I
My
would
take.
agree. I think neither squad is particularly good.
But
But
that wasn't the
but
question.
that's a different question. Yeah, that's a different
That's a
question. Yeah,
different
you're right.
question.
I think both coaches are suicidal. Uh, in that Ange will play his high line come rain or high water, right? Doesn't matter. And Ange can't defend a 4-0 lead, to save his life.
See what
He
happened
can't.
today.
I know he can't defend any lead. So I have no time for Ange Postecoglou. And then with Ten Hag, for me again, I'm not a United fan, so I don't really care. But you cannot you cannot have just recently had a coach that won 13 league titles, and then you say I'm okay with this. But, I'm like, you gotta have some standards. The best managers in the world should be working at Man United. If I was a United fan, that's what I would expect. And if the best will
I
not come
agree.
to you, then you have to do some scouting. You have to find them young. I would go back up a Brinks truck to Glasner's house. That's his name, right? The Crystal Palace coach, and say, I'm betting on you. I'm giving you all the money you have. We're rebuilding. Let's start from scratch. Because guess what,
But
Yinka? You can build a team of U23s and get the same results. And it will
but
be positive amongst
mm-hmm.
your fans, and it will be fun football. United are not fun to watch. They might get the occasional result, but they're disgusting to watch. That's the reality
Yeah.
of it.
Mm.
So what is
And
the point of United right now, Yinka? What is the point?
so you mentioned Glasner. So he's
Yeah.
another coach that he's not finding it funny right now. Crystal Palace are lying in relegation battle right now, in relegation zone with 3 points only.
Yeah.
Um, uh, so once
But
again,
but but Yinka, I'm not worried about
they've
that.
given him resources. No. So what I'm
Have
saying
they?
is this once
Have
again.
they? Have they given him
No,
resources?
so if they gave you money and you decided to go pay out for Nketiah, you had fault though. I'm not
No, but Yinka, hold on. Time out. Like,
okay.
no one in their right mind. One, they've chased Nketiah across 4 regimes now, right? So the old man wanted him twice. Vieira
Mm-hmm.
wanted him, and the new
Yeah,
guy wants him. So I don't think it's the coaches that
yeah.
want him. I think it's the
You
club
think it's the
that wants him.
hierarchy.
Oh, I think it's the
So
club.
which is what I
They've
said. Which is what
Yeah,
I said. There are some instances where the technical director decides on who they buy. It's just with
absolutely,
inputs from the coach. So the coach might just say, I
absolutely.
want a striker. The technical director will go worry about who the striker is. Yeah.
Yeah, but
So if
but
that's the
but
case with
Nketiah,
Glasner, yeah.
Mateta, Edward, what's the other guy's name? They're all.
No, so they've gotten rid of Eduardo. What's his name? The Edward, the French
Yeah,
guy,
yeah, it's
is at
gone.
Leicester right now. He's gone
Okay,
to Leicester. So I'm just saying I wasn't too pleased with Glasner's window. That's all I'm saying, right?
I agree.
And
I agree.
he's finding it difficult right now, right? To really, really rally the troops and get something out of his current team. I didn't like his window. So,
Yeah,
but I get your point on United. I'm not belittling the point. But I just don't think Glasner.
yeah. For me,
United
it's like it cannot be Ten Hag. Ten Hag is David Moyes all over again. I'm sorry.
is even worse than Moyes. What are
Yeah,
you
but it's
saying?
like,
Don't
dude,
disrespect Moyes. It's worse than Moyes.
like, if you can't get Zidane, if you can't get someone that excites your fan base, get someone where you can at least point to, oh, we're learning together, or is growing pains. This man is 53 years old, 54. Where is the learning? What is he learning? Is
So I agree with you, but I also think that right now United's problem, Ten Hag is just amplifying the problem. There's the So as it currently stands, right? It's like there's mold on the wall. The pipes have burst. But instead of you breaking up the wall and getting out the pipes and fixing the pipe, you just keep painting over
Yep,
the mold that is showing on the wall. That is what they're doing with Ten Hag. And whichever coach they bring, if you bring in a Van Nistelrooy, he's
yeah,
going to is just going to be a better quality of paint, right, over the mold. That's what it's going to be.
But I feel like Van Nistelrooy would be a builder. He doesn't have a pedigree, right? No, he's coach PSV. Don't get me wrong, he's coach PSV. But he didn't spend long enough there. Like right now, if you ask me what's his coaching philosophy, okay, I've seen the way PSV play. It's all out attack and all that, but he hasn't really had time. He was there for a couple of years, right? So I think you need someone like that. Or look, everyone on that list that I sent you, the odds have been slashed, right, on Van Nistelrooy.
Yeah.
It's not like a 2-1 or something. So he's definitely going to take over, obviously. My point is you need someone with personality. Whether we as non-Man U fans like it or not, this is the biggest club in England.
Yeah.
The biggest club in England is being coached by a guy who cannot coach.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
I agree. But if I were to be Ineos or whatever their name is, what I will do, I will come out and tell the fan base that I'm stripping this whole nonsense down. Right? We have recruited wrongly across board. Our squad is so... See, who on Man United's squad right now will command a heavy fee if you want to sell them?
Zero. It's literally zero. It's literally zero.
That tells you where the problem is.
The young ones are too young.
Too young. And the old ones, I don't want to say too old, but you get my point.
The old ones are decrepit.
So this is not a fix. This is a re-engineering. This is you breaking down and rebuilding. And this might take 5 years, 10 years. It's not a no. It's not.
But you people laughed at them when they came up with Project 2030, Yinka.
No, I didn't. I didn't laugh at them. It's their fan base that I'm laughing at, not the club itself. Because the fan base themselves are, what do you mean by 2030? We are united. Glory, glory. You can. And I'm like, what are you doing? However, their window, you and I agree, the window they just had is fair enough, right? They bought young players. The price tag might have been a bit, on the steep side.
It's always like that with United. It's always like that.
But it's always like that.
They can't buy cheap. When they show up, the prices go up. You know
United
what I mean?
market is different. Anyway, so I guess that answers your question. They are seriously underachieving.
All right, Leverkusen.
Yes, sir.
Has the bubble burst for Leverkusen?
It's too early to reach that conclusion.
Okay.
But it's not looking too good for them. So they were home to one of the clubs that just came up. I can't remember the name. Let me check. I can't remember the name. Kill or something, whatever. Yeah?
Yeah.
And in that game, Aki, in 10 minutes, they were up 2-0. And I was like, wow, this is going to be a big-time battering. Leverkusen are going to steamroll these guys. Before you knew it, before the end of the half, way deep into injury time, they pulled one back. 70th minute, they scored a penalty. And I was like, okay, Leverkusen, do your thing. Wriggle out of this. They
always come back.
They could not wriggle out of it, Aki. They couldn't. The game ended 2-2. Yeah?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at them like, when you're a rookie, you say you hit a rookie wall.
Yeah.
Is it that what's his name? The coach. Remember his name again.
Alonso.
The Spanish guy.
Xabi Alonso.
Xabi. Is it that Xabi has hit his proverbial rookie wall at this point? Because I don't understand what's going on. Right? So right now. Yeah. So right now, Leverkusen, although they're not that far from Bayern, because Bayern dropped points again today. They're 3 points behind Bayern. Yeah, but they've already lost the game. That's Leverkusen.
Yeah.
And they're not. These are the games that they've had easier fixtures this so far this season than Bayern, than Leipzig, than even Frankfurt.
Yeah.
And you're in fifth already. So it's still early. but the signs are not good. Yeah. Or it might only just mean that last year was like, the peak, and this is where they're just settling in and they're plateauing at this point. And also maybe their Champions League commitment is also affecting the league football.
There you go.
Maybe that is the case. And they didn't really splash that much money in the market. They didn't really.
That's what
they didn't really. Okay, so
they didn't refresh.
I'll let you take it from there.
They didn't refresh, so it's everything. So the number one reason is Bayern were not good last year.
Good.
That's the number one reason. Bayern did not come to play. Right? So the only team in the Bundesliga that you were afraid of last year were Leverkusen.
Yeah.
And they were punching above their weight. It was a great story. It was an amazing story. Okay? But Xhaka should not be the best player in any league that I'm supposed to pay attention to for a whole season. I'm sorry. What are we talking about? So Bayern did not show up to play last year. So that's number one. Okay. They had a magical run. Leverkusen did. And a magical run. Okay. It ended in heartbreaking fashion against Atalanta. But it took something special for Atalanta to beat them. Okay. That's how good they were last year. Right. Their coach is amazing. But it's still, early in his career. But he's amazing. But my biggest thing is they don't have two players for every position.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they're good and great players have very low ceilings compared to Bayern's good and great players. Wirtz is good. Wirtz is not Musiala. You know what I'm saying? Wirtz is not Musiala. He's not. I'm sorry.
I hear you. I think I agree.
Yeah. Frimpong, I like Frimpong. It just seems like he's holding the position warm until they sell him. And Boniface, does it start for Bayern ever? Does he get a game for Bayern?
He might get a game, but it won't start ahead of Kane.
If Boniface found his way, stumbled and lost his way and ended up at City, he would never play again. Like City could play 63 times a season. This man will not get off the bench once. Let's call it what it is. They do not have great players, Yinka. So they need everything to go just right. There cannot be injuries. Your muscles cannot be tired, because the person replacing you is not good. So it's a very small squad with not a lot of quality. And what's happening is very predictable, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think I agree with you. And I think they should go into the market in January to strengthen.
They have to.
They have to. They have to, because Bayern is better this season than they were last season.
Bayern
From a coaching standpoint, yeah, exactly. From a coaching standpoint, yeah. And the other guys too. Dortmund is better than they were last season.
Yeah, they should be.
Eintracht Frankfurt is better than they were last season. Even Leipzig, the fact that Leipzig were able to keep Šeško,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Šeško and Openda, they've been on a tear, So every other person seems to have significantly elevated themselves, and you all have just stayed, packed the way you were.
No, you can't.
So I don't think the bubble has burst. But they need to do better. They need to do better.
All right, Yinka, let's go over to Italy. So
yes, boss.
You begrudgingly moved over to the Napoli side of things, and begrudgingly are beginning to give Antonio-Conte some credit. Are you ready, Yinka, to make them your favorites to win Serie A this season?
Since nobody wants to compete with him now, it's like everybody just wants to hand him. They want to hand him the Scudetto. Yeah,
that's your story. It's not that he's beating up on everybody. It's that they all.
And I'm sticking to it.
Okay,
that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But
anything not to give this guy credit. Okay, I see it.
No. But jokes apart, yeah, jokes apart, yeah. I think Conte in the Serie A is a different beast, is a different animal, and you will see that the guy is very, very intentional about what he wants. His
Absolutely.
window, he didn't mess around. He
Mm.
said, I need McTominay, I need Lukaku, I need Bongiorno. He literally was like, these are the people that I want. I don't want Victor Osimhen. You get my point.
Yeah,
And he bought Billy Gilmore
I
from
know.
Brighton, who
I
I
know.
like as a
Yeah, he's
player,
a nice
but
player.
I would have Conte, Billy Gilmore, Napoli, McTominay, you know.
McTominay, I get. I would not have thought Billy Gilmore for Italy. I wouldn't. Would
And
you?
you know, you and I have always said it. I wouldn't. Even
No.
McTominay, to some extent, I wouldn't. And I said this, we've said this before. McTominay was one of United's better players last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
And for the past 2-3 seasons, if you had a coach that really, really knows what he's doing, it's not McTominay that you should be selling out of all the nonsense you had at United. But now the young boy is turned a new. I mean, he's doing the business in
Yeah.
Napoli again. Yeah. So I am very, very impressed with what I've seen so far with Napoli. You know, Conte style of play, the way the team is set up. I mean, I don't know what else to say, man. I don't know what else to
Okay.
say.
So,
And I give it to him. I raise my hands right
okay.
now, based on what I've watched so far. They look the most like a champion than any other team. It might change 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from, I don't know. But right now, based on what we've seen, Inter are not the same Inter as last season. Yeah. That Lautaro Martinez, Martin Thuram, you know, it's like they can't play together. One needs to play, one needs to be on the bench. They are not gelling. It's like one plays well, the other doesn't play well. They don't play well together at the same time. Yeah?
I have so much to
But
say about this. But go on. Keep
okay.
going. Keep going. Keep
No.
going.
I'll hand it over to you. Juve, on the other hand, that was what I was going to talk about. They've been a disappointment for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's his name? What's the coach again that was at Bologna before?
Yeah.
The
Starts with a T.
Brazilian Thiago Motta.
Thiago Motta. Yeah.
Thiago Motta. Nah, I'm not. They're drawing games that they should not be drawing. They're
Yeah.
dropping
Growing
points where
pains.
they shouldn't be dropping points, right? And I think he's overthinking things. Yeah, just keep it simple. Keep it simple. Don't. We know you're a good coach.
Yeah.
Don't make yourself the star. You know, just play. You have a good squad. Just play. Yeah. So I give it to you, Akim.
Okay.
You were the Conte person. I'm not. So thumbs up to both of you. But Conte is doing a fantastic job. Your take.
Okay. So let me start with Juve. I think two things are happening with Thiago Motta and Juve. So one, the step up from Bologna to Juve, you have to expect some growing pains, right? Bologna, as great, as magical a season as they had last year, they're not Juve. When he was hired, I liked it. I liked the guy. I liked him as a player. I like him as a personality. It reminded me a lot of the Brighton coach that went over to Chelsea. That's kind of how I looked at it. You know, obviously, you know, what's the guy's name? Yinka, remind me.
So we see we're both old.
Yeah, exactly.
The English guy.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
You're just guy. I know who you're talking about.
The difference is that guy was not a legend as a player, right? So that was my first take on that. The second is
Graham Potter.
Graham Potter, thank you. Juve also reminded me of Chelsea, the way they just came and cleared everyone that was older than 23 out. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I'm like, I didn't feel like Juve needed a clear out. I felt like they needed rebuilding on the fly. I didn't, they didn't have bad players, It wasn't like bad eggs or anything like that. And frankly, if you're Juve, the Serie A is really easy to win because if anybody wants to play in Italy, they look at you first before they go to Inter, before they go to Milan. In 2024, you are the destination, and they're not laundering money or doing, or at least we don't think they are, or doing financial engineering like Chelsea is. So what are they doing? So anyway, so that's my take on Juve. Now to Napoli. I don't throw the word genius around all the time, but I think Antonio Conte is a genius. I think he sees things that other people don't see. He wants resources, but he doesn't necessarily say you have to buy me the best players in the world for me to win. He didn't do that at Chelsea. He doesn't really say that. He just wants players that fit. He has a way of playing, and he wants players that fit the way of playing. And he knows Italy. He knows the league is weak. He knows there's no great players left in the league. If you show up and you're consistent and you have above average players, you will be successful. The final thing I'm going to say is Lautaro Martinez doesn't really work well with anyone but Lukaku. And if you think I'm joking, look at his experience on the Argentinian national team. Multiple coaches now have realized it's better off just coming to save the day. When you put him in a two with someone else, he underperforms. He's too similar to Alvarez. To me, that should be an advantage. The fact that you guys are pretty much the same guy. One is a younger version of the other. Although, Martinez has the biggest arms I've ever seen on a footballer. It's like he always freaks me out every time I see it. You know what I'm talking about? Like his upper arm is just like, I'm like, is he a wrestler? It's really bizarre. But there's some it is in what should be the prime of his career, and something is not clicking, and I don't know what it is. Okay, and then so once Lukaku is not right next to him, I can't remember any other like big little or two up front or whatever combination. Messi works well with everybody, so I'm gonna throw the Messi the Messi one out. It just doesn't do it. I don't know why. Now, sorry, who is his mates at Inter? Who is the other guy you were talking about?
Marcus Thuram.
Okay, Thuram is not a great footballer. Okay, that's a problem. I think it's not a forward
scorer right now. He has 7 goals in the Serie A.
But the Italy is not a good league. But I think the problem with Thuram is it should not have been raised to forward. The more I think about it, it sounds like a hot take, but it should not have been raised to forward. Because Yinka is not a center forward, is not a good support striker, is definitely not a winger. What is Marcus Thuram?
He's a striker.
Oh. What makes him a good striker to you? What do you see in him and you're like, oh, I can't wait to get him on my team?
So, Aki, here's the thing. Yeah. In the Serie A today, the closest person to Lukaku, right, is Marcus Thuram.
But you don't like Lukaku. You see what I'm saying?
No. You can't say I don't like Lukaku. Lukaku is not my cup of tea.
I know.
You can't say I don't like Lukaku. I don't. Lukaku. You can't qualify Lukaku as a player Yinka does not like.
Okay.
Right? Is he my? Nah, he's not. But you get what I'm saying.
I love him.
This young man, Marcus Thuram, just scored a hat trick this weekend.
I'm not impressed.
Lautaro Martinez was in the same game, right? But here's the thing: Marcus Thuram needs service. The goals that he scored, the third goal was a what do you call it? It was a scuffle. It was very, very rough. But the first 2 goals, perfect headers. They put the ball on his head. He scored. It was perfect. That's what he's there for. That's what he is. As I said, he's big. He's a bit more mobile than Lukaku.
He's not as big and he's more mobile. Yeah,
exactly. The only thing is he's selfish. He doesn't know how to bring people into play. Right? Right now, Lukaku in Napoli, he already has like 4 or 5 assists already in Napoli. Right? So Lukaku knows how to play that big man game. I'll hold up play, bring people in. No, Thuram is the opposite. Thuram wants you to feed him and for him to score. which is why Martinez worked well with Lukaku, which is why it's not
Yes.
working well with Thuram. So Inter have a small problem on their hands.
Okay. I'm
They
glad
need
you
to
said
decide
that.
what's going to happen.
The only thing I'm offended that you think Thuram is the closest thing to Lukaku. You know, aside
So
from
who else is
there's
close to Lukaku?
nobody. He's one of one. He's
No.
one of
So
one.
closeness is a function of proximity now. So if there are 10 people and the 10th person is 10 kilometers away, and the closest person to you is 5 kilometers away, Akin, that 5 kilometers is still the closest to him.
Let me put it this way. Lukaku is closer to Ibrahimovic than Thuram is close to Lukaku. Okay. As long as we agree.
I've not thought through that.
Okay.
I've not thought through that, and I don't disagree with what you said off the top of my head. All I'm saying is, in terms of comp, if they ask you today,
I get it.
In the Serie A, who is the closest striker, kind of, to Romelu Lukaku? You'll probably say Thuram.
I don't like Thuram. I don't like his game. I loved his dad. His dad was dynamic. His dad was just amazing. I don't like Thuram.
I love his younger brother more. His brother is a better player.
Thank you. This is what I'm saying. Like, this guy, I know he has a little bit of mobility. It doesn't look like someone who should be mobile, just like Boniface. He has a tiny little bit of mobility, but I don't like his game at all.
It's not my.
Yeah.
For me, Lukaku is a better player.
It's not even close.
Than Thuram.
It's not even close. But anyway, we're going on a tangent.
Yeah.
Good luck to Inter. They will struggle. But Lautaro Martinez is a conundrum. Because I don't get it. He has so many intangibles, but it's just a weird. He is so unreliable. It's like if you buy him, you must buy someone else. You can't just have him. You need someone who will be reliable when he's not, who will be healthy when he's injured, who will be a marksman when he decides to be a provider, who will be a provider when he decides to be a marksman. This man would just not be what you need him to be.
So you have two people that are quite similar.
Yeah.
Because they need the team to play to their strength. Yeah. And they don't work well together. At least for now. No. Right now, they don't work well. I don't think they work well together. The reason why Lukaku and Martinez worked well together was because Lukaku is selfless. Lukaku will do the hard work for you. Thuram is not doing that. Thuram wants to score. Thuram wants to do exactly what you're doing. He wants the team to put the ball for him on a platter of gold. Yeah. So they have a conundrum. How they fix it? I want to see how it will be sorted because I'm actually interested in that. I mean,
why am I interested? Why am I interested in Car? Because Arsenal plays Inter next, I believe, in the Champions League. Really? I believe it's Inter next.
I don't know.
I believe it's Inter next, and I believe it might be away. I'm not sure, but Arsenal play Inter next. So
okay, fair point.
I hope they don't fix it until then. All right.
Anyway,
so you got our next topic. Last week we debated, whether rest is good to prevent injury. Players getting injured because they play too much. Something came up in this weekend's games. Arsenal were playing Southampton. You would have thought Southampton had only earned 1 point in the league, and Arsenal are trying to win the league. And Mikel Arteta did not have his two running backs. Sorry, let's say running backs. Right backs.
Fullbacks.
Right backs.
Okay, so two right backs.
No Ben White and no Urian Timber. Right? Yeah. So, and of course, we already know he didn't have Zinchenko, but he had two left backs, right? He had Kivior. He had Calafiori. And at the end of the game against PSG, Calafiori finished the game at right back. So I was thinking Calafiori would have started at right back, Kivior at left back. But instead, he went back to what he did last season. For most of the time that Arsenal were not good last season was when they played this formation with Partey at right back. And that's where Arteta started the game. With Partey at right back. So my question to you is, So you didn't have two right backs, so you went to your auxiliary right back, Partey. But then you also changed the entire left side of your midfield and attack, right? You took out Trossard, you brought in Jesus, and then you took out Martinelli, and you brought in Sterling, right?
Yeah.
So your right side was fine-ish, with the exception of no overlap from Partey, but Jesus and Sterling didn't work, even though they both played together so well at City. So your take generally on Saturday, was it too much rotation? And then just in general, I feel like coaches are damned if they do, damned if they don't. What would you have done? Did Arteta do the right thing?
Okay, so yeah, I agree with you. I think that was too much. Yeah. But like they say, hindsight is 2020. Yeah. If you were going to do it, which other game would you have done that in?
Yes.
Southampton is the bottom of the league. It's not as if you brought in scrubs, right? Yeah. You brought in a Sterling, a Gabriel Jesus, who should ideally he's knocking on the door to be a starter, yes or no?
That should be your starting 9.
Exactly, right? And the party at right back is not intentional. Right? I mean, it's not as if that was what he designed. It's as a result of the realities. I didn't have anybody. Tomiyasu was the other option to bring in. Tomiyasu has been out for.
Couldn't play 90 minutes.
He's been out forever. Yeah. So you couldn't. I understand why he did what he did, and it is also a reason for you to look at those guys and say, you guys need to do better, right? Because if you are calling or if you are pushing for a starting berth, these are the kind of games that you should be giving me headaches in. You should get into these games, deliver, so that when it's time after the season, after the international break, and I'm playing away to Bournemouth, I should be thinking, Jesus scored a hat-trick against Southampton. Why do I drop him? Oh, Sterling provided 3 assists. Why should I drop him?
Absolutely.
Right? So I don't think the coach did anything wrong. Maybe Partey at right back was extreme. I probably agree with you. I'll have go with Calafiori right back.
Yeah. Kivior on the left.
Kivior left back. Maybe that's what I would have done. Yeah,
but then you would have had Lewis Kelly would have been your only backup. Or you could have started Lewis Kelly. Would have been the backup. You could have started Lewis Kelly.
So that was going to be my next point, right?
Yeah.
If that's the case, then, maybe Lewis Kelly or even an Ethan Wanner in midfield, those are I think maybe that's what he should have done. But hey, that's Arteta's headache. But this discussion around squad rotation and the players saying, I'm playing too many games. This is where we go, you can eat your cake and have it, more or less. Yeah.
Fair enough.
The fans want, because I saw most of the Arsenal fans are like, why did you have to rotate? Play everybody. But it is the same, you same people will come here and tell me, oh, the players are playing too much, they need to rest, da. Why do you have a squad? You have a 25-player squad. Why do you have the squad then if you only want to be playing your starting 11 every time?
I agree.
And this same starting 11 will go for the international break. They will play, and they will come back again. You want to play them again?
Yeah.
You have to use your squad, people. Squad rotation is not a myth. That is why it's a squad. That is why you have 25 people. And, Aki, let's assume the injury then gets worse. Let's say Kai Havertz gets injured. I pray that's not the case.
What do you do?
Jesus will have started, yes or no?
Yeah,
he would have.
He would have.
So it is only until somebody gets injured that you now want to start giving game time and match sharpness to the other people.
Agreed.
The reason why City are City, and I get it, their squad is better. So Pep can afford to, he can afford to sit Ruben Dias for 3 games, right? He will just be rotating centre backs. Akonji and this former Everton boy will play. Ake, or he can do whatever he wants to do, right? Which is what every coach should be doing. But the mere fact that you know that your B option is not as good as the A option, you
Yeah,
want to kill the A option.
absolutely.
So we need to decide what we want. You can't eat your cake and have it. Yeah? If the players are complaining that they are playing too many games, that means it is mandatory for the coach to then utilize the squad. And this goes for national team players and it goes for club players too, right? I think it is selfish for a national team coach to look at a player. For example, I'll say this again, a Martin Odegaard that has played almost every single minute. You now come
I got
one
injured.
nonsense UEFA Nations League game that doesn't mean anything, and you're still playing 90 minutes in both games. It is just stupid.
I would
It is
agree.
stupid. And it is not as if you don't have an option. You have an option. So if a player is complaining that I'm playing too much, it is left to the coaches to protect the players. It is not left to FIFA or the Federation or EPL. That's why they tell you should have 25-man squad now. Why would you decide to use only 15 if you have 25? And you're complaining that, the games are too much. No, the games are not too much. You decided not to use your squad.
So, for what it's worth,
Right.
Havertz was pulled out of the German team, thank God, with a knee
A lot are
injury.
still coming. A lot are coming.
Yeah, but with a knee injury, so that's good. Yinka, I think I agree with this. I think it's both, actually. I think there's too many games. Like the Club World Cup revamp is unnecessary. We've talked about that. Just adding more and more and more games, that they won't stop. They won't stop, Yinka. There's too much money. They won't stop. These players play year round, Yinka. There's really no off season anymore. There's no off season anymore. So I think it's too much. And also coaches don't want to get fired. So they play their best players when they're available. And that's the problem. But
that's the problem.
Really, in this situation, it's on Jesus and it's on Sterling to play well. Aaron Ramsdale didn't have a save to make until like the 40th minute on Saturday. Like a real save to make. So that's on you. The player. That's not on the manager.
Yeah.
All right.
And everybody keeps saying, we don't have the resources that Pep has. Pep also has the confidence and the trust in his players. I mean, Savinho is a good player, but do you think if a reverse was the case, right? That Arsenal game, Arsenal at Etihad, do you think other coaches would have started someone like a Savinho and a Doku against Arsenal, who are not your A options?
No, never.
No, they won't have done that.
They wouldn't have done it.
But Pep is like, you know what? Let's play this way. I have a champion, or these guys play Champions League. So coaches should do this a lot more. So squad rotation is key. That's why you have a squad. That's why it's 25, not 15. I rest my case.
All right. So I think we got through all our pre-designed questions. I think we may have time before we go to wordy mentions. We may have time for one more. And I think you were weighing whether or not to do one. Do you want to do it, or should we move on?
Let's keep it.
Okay.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
So we're gonna move on. Quick WNBA playoffs update. We did a very in-depth review of the WNBA last week. I was pretty proud of that. But while we were recording today, just half an hour ago, the Los Angeles Aces crashed out of the playoffs to the New York Liberty. So I watched game 3 and I saw a little bit of game 4 where they crashed out. So what stands out to me is until that game 3, when it eventually became a blowout, where the Aces blew out the Liberty. Yeah. The Aces hadn't beaten the Liberty all season.
Yep.
All season. I think 3 games. I think they played 3
Plus the
times.
2 games, so that's
Plus the
5.
2, that's 5. So plus
Yeah.
the 2 in the playoffs. So that's when you know someone is just better than you. And I was beginning to say it. I'm like, oh, there's a reason this team is number 4 on the table. When I would have expected them to be 1 or 2, and they really were never competing with the 1 or 2. So it's amazing that they had a player who was the unanimous MVP, had
Mm-hmm.
arguably her best year,
Mm-hmm.
but her entire team didn't elevate with her, unfortunately. And it showed today.
Yeah.
She always does her thing, but you know, um, and then Sabrina Ionescu came back from scoring just 1 point, I think, in game 3. And she was running through all the screens in game 4, and
And just knocking down all
knocking in
sorts of shots.
knocking in the threes. All right, so that's that. On the other side, we don't know who. So now the Liberty have made it to the WNBA finals. This will be
Yep.
their second in a row, their second finals in a
Mm-hmm.
row, because they lost last year to this same Liberty. Sorry, this same Aces, right? In
Aces, yeah.
in the final. This time they knocked
Mm-hmm.
out the Aces. Now on the other side of the bracket, again, I want to remind people who are watching this who are more familiar with the NBA. There are only 12 teams in the league. The playoffs only take about 2.5 minutes. It's not as long as the NBA finals. First round is best of 3, second round is best of 5. So the Liberty won 3-1 in 4 games. This did not go to a game 5. I know
Yeah.
this is gonna fall on deaf ears because there's too much money involved, but I think maybe only the NBA finals, maybe the conference finals should be best of 7. There's really no need for it. But if we want the best, in my opinion, the best sporting experience, if money wasn't the object, the
Mm.
jeopardy of going away and losing 2 games and then coming home for the first time and it's already an elimination game, you cannot beat that. You should
Yeah.
go to a best of 5. If you want to provide the best sporting experience for your fans and your viewership, it's not
Mm.
game 7, but America loves marketing so much. They're like, oh, there's nothing better than a game 7.
Akin,
That's a lie.
you are the only one complaining. Leave us.
But
Leave us. We're fine. Leave us. Leave the best of 7.
you
I don't
people,
know why. I don't know
you
what's your
people,
problem.
because sometimes
Even the play.
more is not better. Sometimes less is more.
Leave us. We're not out of
You
all the
know?
problems facing the NBA. This game, 7 games, 5 games, is the least of the problems, right? It
Yinka,
is. Just
why
let it
why
be.
does a first seed and an 8th seed
So,
need
so why,
7 games?
So if that is the case, then you will say in tennis to Grand Slam, they shouldn't play. It shouldn't be a
And
5 setter.
I think women should play best of 5. I think everybody should play best of 5.
But I thought you just said less is more.
Oh, not in this case. Or they pay them the same. No, I'm glad you brought it up. They pay them the same amount of money. They should play the same amount of games. It's insane that the men literally have to work twice as hard. By the time they get to the finals, right? Nadal would have played twice as many minutes as a Serena used to play. It's insane to me.
I can be consistent. You
No,
just said
I am.
less is
I'm being
more.
consistent. No, but Yinka, it will be
So okay, so you're saying that the men should reduce. It should
no,
not be best of.
no. Okay, so let me be very clear what I'm saying. Best of 3 in basketball is probably not enough. Best of
So best
7 in the
is
opening
too
round
much.
is too much. Best of 7
Okay.
in the final, like, okay, that's fine, right? So I think best of 5 is good. I like the jeopardy of I'm coming home down 2 and I gotta win that game 3. Like, it felt like a game 7 to me when the Aces were in a win or stay home. In this case, they were already home, not go
Yeah.
home. Win or stay home situation. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, you can always, for me, what makes sports interesting is the jeopardy. Like, hey, this is it. And you get that jeopardy 3 games in, not 5 games in. Not 6 games in. You know what I'm saying? That's my point.
Okay. Fair point.
Okay.
Fair point. Anyway, So the WNBA, the second game is already going on right
Yeah.
now. Lynx they are leading the Suns by 7. It's
And
halftime.
they're up 2-1, 2 games to
They're
one.
up
They
2-1. Yeah.
they split the first 2 games in
The
Minnesota,
first two games. Yeah.
and then Minnesota and Nafisa Collier, God, that woman. They went to Connecticut and won, and she was just, it's so funny because a
She
friend of
was
mine
just,
texted, was like, Nafisa Collier has a really nice game. I'm like, yeah. Second in MVP
yeah,
voting and defensive player of
yeah.
the year. I mean, like, she's got both, you know.
See, all the ladies that Kobe took under his tutelage, you
Mm,
can see the impact. So Nafisa is one of them.
mm.
Joel Lloyd,
Sabrina Ionescu is
Sabria
another.
Ionescu is another one. Joel
Mm,
Lloyd is another one, right?
mm,
You can see, his impact.
mm,
And maybe this is another topic for another day. Kobe's impact on basketballers
mm.
is
Yeah.
light years ahead of bronze, right? It's anyway. We can talk about that.
So
Don't let's go off tangent.
I'm not gonna dwell on it, but I don't remember. Kobe played 20 years, 19, 20 years.
Yes, yes,
I'm sure he had many contract disputes.
yeah.
At one time, he almost left. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've never heard Kobe fight over money. Kobe had plenty of money. Kobe had many, many endorsements. I've never heard
Yeah,
the words, it's all about business, come out of Kobe's mouth.
yeah.
Kobe was about the game. And I say this as someone who was not a big fan of his game, but his commitment could not be, you can't even, I mean, I'm just, so when you talk about LeBron versus Kobe, one guy's about the game. In my opinion, one guy's about the commercial side of what the game can give to him. And, everyone, rock with whatever you want to rock with.
So,
It is what it is.
Aki, you just stumbled on a very good topic, so I'll put that on ice. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I will revisit this next week because there are a lot of
Okay.
things to say about this, that triangle,
Yeah.
Jordan, Kobe, blah, blah, blah. So
Yeah.
I'll put we'll talk about that next week. But quickly
Okay.
on the WNBA, right?
Yeah.
Just wanted to point out something. We said that the Aces the only team that could give the Aces problem was Liberty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And this game that just ended now gave you a perfect example. I mean, the reason why that is.
Yeah.
So in that game, Ionescu scored 22 points, Stewart scored 19, Jonquel Jones had 14. Yeah.
Wow.
And on the Aces side, Asia had 19, Plum had 17, Gray had 7.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Last year, Gray, Jackie Young, Derica Hamby, the whole team could elevate and
Yeah.
push, And I
Yeah.
think John Quell wasn't on Liberty last year. It
I don't
was
think
just
she was.
Ionescu and
Yeah.
Stewart.
Yeah.
John
Yeah.
Quell was still with Connecticut
The Suns.
last
Yeah.
year. I think she
Yeah.
only came to Liberty this year. So I'm looking for. I think Minnie will win this game. I have it on my iPad here. I think Minnie will win. So Minnie Liberty final is going to be an interesting one.
It'll be
It will
good.
be an
No,
interesting
it's
one.
good. All
Yeah.
right, we have one more WNBA topic before we go.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've been clowned by a few people that this is our favorite topic. Like the WNBA is our favorite topic. We're always talking about it. But I have many things to say about that, but we're going to move on. So we've been reporting now. This is like the 4th time we've reported that Caitlin Clark won Rookie of the Year. But, it just became official. They just and now we know it was not unanimous. And apparently, that's a problem for some people. Yinka, it is not a problem for me. Is it a problem for you that she's not unanimous?
Absolutely not.
So, Yinka, before I go crazy, about this time 21 years ago, well, maybe not this time, but you know what I mean. 20 years ago, let's say, LeBron James and Melo were finishing their rookie season. It would have been 20 years ago, 2024, early in the year, 2004 rather. And LeBron was Rookie of the Year. some people, including me, thought it should have been Melo. Because even then, after seeing just one season, I said LeBron will obviously be the better player, but
Yeah.
Melo had the better year. Melo made the playoffs. Melo's team, obviously Melo was playing with Iverson. I get that. But Melo's game translated immediately. Because what's Melo's game? It's very simple. Slash, slash,
Yes.
take a mid-range
Slash
jumper.
slash. Mid-range jumper.
Use your upper body to body guys off. He wasn't crazy athletic. He wasn't dunking a lot. He wasn't flying a lot. He didn't take threes. He literally refused to take threes. That's one of the reasons his career ended early. Well, not early, but you know what I mean. His career.
So by the time he took three taken seriously, it was already.
It was very stubborn.
They wanted him to be a 3 and D guy, but
he can't.
He could
D,
shoot
and
the three,
it would not
but
shoot. He just refused to shoot it. But LeBron was just a more cerebral player and all that. And LeBron had a great. I mean, LeBron took a team that he was the number 1 overall pick for a season. Sorry, for a reason. The team wasn't good. And it was surrounded by guys that weren't great. But he won. But my point is, I bring this up to say he didn't win unanimously, and he's LeBron. So what is this thing that Caitlin Clark must be unanimous? I think you were the first person that pointed this out, but then both of us started talking about it. Not making the Olympics was so good for Caitlin Clark's numbers. So it's she had a great beginning of the season. It was a little uneven, but it's like night and day compared to how she finished the season after the Olympics. Her scoring jumped up almost 4 points. Everything jumped up. That's 4 points per game. It's crazy. So, but there was a time when she was kind of neck and neck with, Amber, what's her name? Angel Reese.
Angel Reese.
Before Angel Reese, injured the wrist, before they went, I think, 2-10 in their last 12 games.
And they didn't make the playoffs.
They didn't make the playoffs. And, but Caitlin Clark started the season 1-8. 1 game, 1 win, and 8 losses. The first 9 games. So that's not a unanimous MVP season. What are we doing?
So, Aki, even if it were to be a unanimous MVP season, and someone else decided to vote for the injuries, so what? So you gave the person the right to vote because you thought the person had the right to vote. So now that the person has not voted for injuries, now you're saying, oh, that person doesn't deserve. Do you understand what I'm saying? That she should have been unanimous. And I'm like, see, these are the kind of stories and kind of perspective that is causing this unnecessary divide. That is causing this unnecessary divide. There is also another school of thought that is saying right now that, since the dream, since the fever out, that the numbers of the WNBA playoffs have tanked. And I'm like, so that tells you that the people that were watching, a percentage of people that were watching purely from, I'm just here for Caitlin Clark. That's what it is. Not really here for the sport. Not here for, do you understand? You're just here because I heard there's a young white lady that is doing amazing things. That's just where you're there to watch. Because there are plenty white ladies on these other teams that are playing also. Sabrina is white, isn't she?
Yes. Yes, indeed she is.
Brianna Stewart is white, isn't she?
Yes, indeed.
So this just want to plaster racism on this whole story is making it uncomfortable for some of us. It's making it irritating for some of us. Just let it be.
So I'm gonna
She's
make
a fantastic player.
She's a fantastic
player. She's done well for the game. But Aki, she's not the best rookie ever. I'll still say it. Candace Parker is the best rookie ever to play in the WNBA.
Tarazi was better. Tarazi was better.
Candace Parker was MVP and Rookie of the Year in the same season. Sorry. Guys, get off this. She was Rookie of the Year and MVP the same season.
So
it's like they're making this thing just uncomfortable. I don't like this whole situation.
So you
Anyway,
got there's many ways I can go with this, right? I think humans have a tendency to not be consistent, and we don't call each other out enough. You try to call me out, I was able to explain my way out of it. But I think we just have so I'll give you an example. So there's a story right now. Kristen Brennan is a reporter, I want to say for USA Today. She's been with them forever. Let's just assume it was USA Today. If it's not, I'm sorry. USA Today. Kristen Brennan. She's 66 years old. She's an OG, right? So when she started covering women's sports, there was no budget for women's sports. Like she's, by all indication, a legend, right? In the American sports reporting fraternity, right? But she's writing a book. It's not an authorized biography, but she's writing a book on Caitlin Clark. So she's been trying to get access and whatnot, right? There was some uproar this past week because this woman Carrington of the Connecticut Suns, Dejanay or something like that.
Dejanay Carrington.
Yeah. She was all defensive NBA selection, right?
Yeah.
This is what she's known for. She is a defensive stalwart. She poked Caitlin Clark in the eye. Right?
Yep.
For me, the accusation that a professional athlete in 2024 we go out of their way to go and poke another athlete in the eye, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm pretty sure she didn't do it on purpose. She's been asked. Go on, Yinka.
Okay, we saw it's a basketball play.
It's a basketball play. Okay.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So she said she didn't do it on purpose. Kristen Brennan, 66-year-old Kristen Brennan, asks this woman. Now, this woman has already been subject to all kinds of abuse, racial abuse. She had to get off social media, right? Miss Carrington had to get off social media. So, and she was offended by this line of questioning by Kristen Brennan. So, the WNBA Players Association felt they had to come out with a statement. And now they want Kristen Brennan banned from press conferences, right?
Wow.
Yeah, it's that bad. So they need to support this because again, people talk about mental health. This, I think I've joked about this before, right? Yinka? Like all these young people, all they talk about is mental health, and then they refuse to take time off work for their own mental health. They refuse to do anything to save their mental health. They stay on the phone, which is proven to not be good for your mental health. They won't leave social media, which is proven to be bad
for your health,
for your mental health. So it's just vibes, Yinka. They just want to talk about mental health, but they don't actually want to take steps to improve their mental health. So the WNBA Players Association is like, look at this woman. She is being targeted on social media. She had to get, this racial abuse, sexist abuse, the usual of all these incels out there, coming at her. And somehow this 66-year-old white woman is the victim. I'm like, how is this possible? You're writing a book. I don't have to help you write your book. You are writing a book. I don't have to give you a quote. I don't really care. You're building, something for yourself. This is Kristen Brennan Enterprises. I'm not here to make that pop. That's not my responsibility. So she's like, why are you targeting me with this question? I've said I didn't do this on purpose. And you come here and you say, did you do that on purpose? And Kristen is saying, oh, I'm asking questions that would not be out of place in the NFL. And I thought it was interesting because she didn't even say the NBA. She went straight to the NFL. So there's a lot of what I'm hearing, it's mostly men that are crying about this, about the treatment of Caitlin Clark. Not Caitlin herself, to her credit. It's men that are crying over this. And I think a lot of it, okay, they're not going to want to hear it. A lot of it is, one, you may not know this, you may not think this of yourself, but you're playing into gender stereotypes.
Yeah.
Because you don't expect women to be brash. You don't expect women to be bad in the
Mm.
sports world. You don't expect
Yeah.
them to punch below the belt, so to speak. You don't expect them to do. You don't expect a female Draymond Green. It's shocking to you. You expect them to lay out this red carpet because someone is coming in to quote unquote save the sport. I went on a rant last week. I will not go on a rant this week, so I'm going to cut this
Yeah.
short. But you said something earlier that made me think. Like, whenever Caitlyn plays, they get 1 million+ viewers in the US. I don't know about international. When
Yeah.
she doesn't, they get 300-ish. So,
Mm.
but she can't play every game. She can't put on a uniform and play for every team against every other team. That's not how. This is not the Globetrotters. This is not professional wrestling. This
Yeah.
is a real sport. So I'm sorry. When Jordan retired all the 18 times he retired, NBA viewership plummeted. You know, Kobe was the closest you could get to Jordan. He didn't pop like Jordan, right? Vince Carter did not pop. Tracy McGrady did not pop.
Yeah.
Jordan's contemporaries did not pop.
Yeah.
Tim Duncan quit playing. You know what I mean? Like, he put people to sleep. This
Yeah.
is not the first time we've seen this. You
Yeah.
don't know what's going to pop. You don't know. People are fickle. The viewing public is fickle. We
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, we literally got a facsimile of Jordan and nobody cared. Kobe didn't do numbers. Like, Mike did not. We had to recalibrate.
Yeah.
And then Kobe and Shaq became the new high. But that
Yeah.
new high, I don't have the numbers in front of me, is probably less than half of Jordan.
And that new high even came because NBA then became international, right? So even the growth in NBA today is not within the primary location. It's
Yeah,
still the international audience, right? Years
yeah,
ago, I couldn't watch the NBA, but now I can. I can watch every single game because there's an NBA app that I can use to watch everything. Same
yeah,
thing with the WNBA, yeah. So it's now more accessible to more people. Do you understand?
yeah.
Right? But you're right. Jordan was like
I
Magic
wish I
and
could find the
Bird.
numbers. Yeah,
Magic and Bird were just they were kind of let's just continue to cook. Jordan cooked the NBA. He kind of, do you understand? He
yeah.
made the sport like everybody wanted to be like Jordan. Everybody wanted to wear those shoes, right? So if you're having something similar here, right, just appreciate it, enjoy it, and that doesn't mean what's his name, Magic and Bird didn't do anything for the NBA. That doesn't mean when you're telling the story of the NBA you would overlook that chapter. That doesn't mean Kareem didn't do anything. You don't need to dim Kareem's light, dim Magic's light because you want to elevate someone else. I'm sick and tired of this. I'm tired of it, right? It's like, let's know the truth. Those of us that are just the sports fan that just enjoy the game. I'm not playing into this racial rhetoric or gender whatever rhetoric. I just love the game. Simple. And I'm so disappointed when I hear people that I believe should know better, right? The people should, and they're saying all this. Shannon Sharp, Stephen A, saying, "Oh, yeah, we told you about Shannon. We told you about." I'm like, guys, what are you guys on about? What are you saying? It's not a context of, oh, I want to prove to you that I was right. No, you're wrong. You are absolutely wrong, right? It is not black or white. There's a gray area. And once you're in that gray area, you let it be. You can't insist that, oh, it's black. No, it's not. Did the WNBA start yesterday? Did Clark just come in and the whole thing started from the ground? No. Guys, anyway. Aki.
So, after Jordan's second retirement in 98, between the finals of 98 and the finals of 99, which was a strike shortened season in
Yeah.
99, the ratings dropped 45%.
Wow.
Because there was no Jordan.
And there was nobody close to him.
Yeah. So
There was nobody close to him. Was it Clyde Drexler actually retired then? Was it who? Penny Hardaway? Who? Who are we talking about?
That was just the finals, not the season. I have the numbers in front of me. I'm glad I have this now. So his last finals, 97-98 season, that series against the Utah Jazz averaged 29 million viewers. His final game
globally or in the US.
I think this is usual. When they do these numbers, it's usual. The rest of the world don't exist. You need to understand this, Shinka. Stop bringing. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about it's the US. You know. Do they have TVs outside the US? Stop playing. Game 6, 35.89 million.
Wow.
I mean, the NFL does like 100 million for the Super Bowl. This is crazy. This is what Jordan was doing. And then, the next finals dropped by 45%, right? By 2003, when LeBron came into the league, the NBA finals were averaging 8.9 million. From the height of 36 point something million to 8.9 million. So do you throw the NBA away? Like people want to throw the WNBA away without Caitlin Clark? Or do you say, let's go back and pay Jordan more money because it was, and I was arguing with a bunch of friends this past week, and I'm like, you could argue Jordan was more important in hindsight. It was more important to the NBA than Caitlin Clark is to the WNBA.
Absolutely. 8.9,
Yinka. 8.9 million by 2003 within 5 years. 8.9
from 36 to 8.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
All-star games. When he first retired in 1994, All-Star game viewership dropped 40%.
Wow.
Yeah. And then by 2000, another 38% decrease. Come on.
Anyway.
It's crazy to me, but what exactly do people want? Caitlin Clark will get better. She may eventually. I've watched the game. I don't think she's as good as Diana Taurasi as a rookie. She's not. I don't want to compare her to Parker.
No. I can actually say.
Don't do that.
See, Akin, when she was in college,
yeah.
Everybody just thought, oh, shooter, she's a shooter. She was the point guard in her, the assists, the passes, the quality of the passes.
Yeah.
Akin, she's amazing. I was shocked. She's amazing.
Yeah.
She is. But let's just put, like you say, context. Let's talk about this thing. Yeah. She's amazing. But for people to get angry when someone has a different opinion, as in, oh, she's the best rookie ever, and I'm like, no. She's not. Right? You think what's her name? Taurasi was better.
I think Taurasi was.
Yeah. I think CP3 was better.
I agree.
And
obviously. Yeah.
Exactly. So these things are not. Let's and if I say that doesn't mean you should be mad at me or you think I'm being racist. No, I'm not. I'm just stating the obvious or what I think, my own opinion. So guys, everybody should just calm down.
Yeah.
She'll have a fantastic career. She'll be all right. FIFA will probably win whatever if they can build their roster and get people around. They will
win things.
They will win things. Right, and let's just enjoy this whole the whole situation that we have with the W.
I think I'll wrap on this. Right, I keep using the word pop. We just don't know what makes people pop.
Yeah,
we don't. I think we can pick any industry and examine this. You and I grew up together. You and I love the same kinds of music. Fuji music. We were just talking about Fuji before we started recording.
Before we started, yeah.
You know, why Barrister and Collington? Why not the third guy? Who was the third guy that wasn't 10 years younger than them? Who was their third contemporary? Who was the guy before them that they saw and took things from? Maybe Ayinla Omowura, maybe, you know?
Yeah.
So,
but
my point is, sometimes you pop. A lot of times it's because you're a genius or there's genius in you. Sometimes it's time and place. Sometimes it's
exactly,
you know,
it's just the environment. It's a perfect storm.
And sometimes you don't know why
you don't know why you
know. Now, I think MJ was better than Dr. J, right? But Dr. J did a lot, but TV wasn't as big. Dr. J played when people still kind of watch black and white, and you know, color TV was just coming out or whatever. By the time he came, and then he played in the ABA. By the time he came to the NBA, his knees were gone. You know, he wasn't flying halfway across the court anymore. You know, but he still won an NBA title. It was still amazing. You know, but he didn't have that commercial, you know, Nike, all of this stuff, you know. But why Jordan? And why hasn't someone else been able to replicate the Jordan formula? And I'm not talking of this overhyped players where everybody gets a shoot, including Zion, who has played 2 more basketball games than you and I combined. You know, not, you know, everyone gets a shoot, so I don't care about that. But really, you know, really meaning something. What about golf? You know, as we say in Nigeria, if he easy, run him. If it was so easy, you know, or as Jay-Z said, make another J. If it was so easy, you made me, make another one. If it was so easy, make another Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
You know, make another, you know, so that's why we say they're generational. They're generational. The generation used to be called 30 years, right? So you see this thing every, you know, once or twice in your lifetime. You know, make another Tiger Woods. We're still waiting. There's been many great, you know, golfers. None of them has the cultural relevance of Tiger. So CC is having a moment. She has this cultural relevance. Her skill set is not that dissimilar, Yinka, to Sabrina. And Sabrina came into the league just a few years before her. But somehow Sabrina did not pop. Sabrina, like you said, was under the tutelage of Kobe. Sabrina did the NBA All-Star Game 3-point thing with Steph. And yet nobody knows who Sabrina is.
It's Steph.
We don't know why people pop. And while we're talking about Steph, Yinka, Steph was a number 7 overall pick. After playing out his rookie contract, his own team lowballed him. 4 years, 44 million, 11 million a year. 11 million a year. Now, you know, the league is completely gone crazy now. But even then, 11 million, the max salary was 18, 19 million if you're signing for your own team. They said, we don't trust your ankles. His own team saw him every day. And guess what? The craziest part of it, he accepted it. Because that means he believed that about himself. So even the Steph that popped, he didn't pop on day 1. He didn't pop in year 5.
People are shocked, right? His shooting is always, he's been a good shooter. But if his shooting was that elite when he was a rookie or when he was coming out of college, he wouldn't have gone 7.
No.
You know, when he was coming out, 3-pointers were not a thing. They were just like, okay, the young boy can shoot, but he's skinny. He can't drive to the basket. Blah,
because
blah, blah,
Reggie Miller, 6'7". Yes. Ray Allen is like 6'5".
Yeah.
Steph is 6'3".
You just have this skinny boy, weak ankles, that can't drive, can only shoot. That's how he went. There was a reason he went 7.
Yeah.
Anyway, Aki, let's put a wrap on this. Okay. I hope this changes next season. Yeah.
I doubt it. We'll be here. I'll be pulling what's left of my hair out.
Again.
We'll have it again.
We'll have this rant again.
You know, anyway, we just have to decide: are we gonna keep watching or not, or we're gonna let these crazy people drive us away?
Watching.
So
I'll be watching.
That's it.
I'll be watching. I'll be watching.
Do you have a donkey?
I do.
Go for it.
I do. Actually, I had two nominees. Number
Okay.
one was Mr. Postacoglu again,
Oh
after
Lord.
or sports in general, after their debacle this evening. But there's one particular person that I'm not too happy with, and
Oh.
it's not a sports person,
Okay.
right?
Speak.
Did you watch the Fulham Man City game?
No, I saw highlights. I didn't watch it,
You saw highlights.
but I know
You
who you're gonna talk
saw
about. I know you're gonna
Adama
talk
Traore.
Adama Traore. But I mean, are you surprised?
God, God.
Are you
See,
surprised?
so here's the thing,
Uh-huh.
guys. Adama Traore is a La Masia product.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for people that don't know, Adama Traore is a Spanish international.
Shouldn't be.
Adama
Okay.
Traore's problem since he was in La Masia was that he could not finish. Finishing is one thing in football that you can teach yourself. Finishing is something you can teach yourself. There are some things that come to people naturally, and there are some things if you don't have it, you can't have it. Yeah? Dribbling is one of them. If you don't know how to dribble when you were 17, you can't know how to dribble when you are 25, 26. It's either you have it or you don't. But finishing, you can train yourself. For Adama Traore, the reason why Barca let him go is because of this same product, or of this same issue rather. He will do all the hard work, end product, zilch. Nothing. And that's how he ended up being a journeyman. Villa, the Wolves, where else did he go to?
And then he went
then
to
now
Barca. He did make it to Barca in their
he
season
went into
of
Barca
doom.
eventually.
In their season of doom, when they couldn't
and they
sign
thought he's one
anybody.
of us.
Yeah.
He's one of us. We can help him, and they
Yeah, yeah.
decided, oh god, yeah, lost cause. This guy did all the work, and this is not the first time. He did all the work. Now you get in front of the goalkeeper. He had 3 one-on-ones with the goalkeeper, and he scuffed his shot every time. And I'm like, how can you have these resources? You've been for years, Akin, since he was a teenager. I've known Adama Traore since he was at La Masia. Because he has always been a big baby, you know.
Yeah,
He's always been, and we were like, this boy, you know, the end product just, it's not there. It's still not there till today. So if you don't have the discipline to look at, this is a part of my game that I need to work on and work on it. Come on now. Come on. Now I know I'm being a bit unfair on him. City didn't deserve to win that game.
No, they didn't.
Right?
And the
the
XG,
only reason,
their XG will show you. So they won 3-2.
Exactly.
The XG was 1.5. The XG was 1.5.
You see?
You know, yeah, and they scored 3 goals. But his XG, his personal XG was 1.09.
Was like 4.
And he scored 0. He scored 0. You know, it was 1.09 and he scored 0. City's was 1.5 or 1.4 and they scored 3 goals. That's the difference between Adama Traore. That's why Adama Traore doesn't play for City. You know what I mean? Because if City had scored 1 or 2 goals, anyway, go on.
Exactly. Adama Traore, I know if I tell you not to do it again, I'm just wasting my time. So I'll just keep quiet.
He's been doing it forever.
We've been doing it forever. Yeah, my donkey of the week. Yeah, you can't be a pro footballer with that much talent, and you can't just work on the one thing that is stopping your greatness. Come on, man. I can rest my case.
All right, Ninka, I think we've made it to the end of our show today.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
Let's wrap. Let's wrap.
Thank you guys. Thanks for listening. We really, really do appreciate it. Our subscription numbers are going up gradually. We appreciate you guys. We thank you guys. The questions have dried up a bit, but we're looking. We know you guys are listening, and if you have any questions, please send it our way. We're more than happy to discuss them and tackle them. Please continue to tell your friends about us. Like, subscribe, smash the notification bell so that when we release our content, you get them. And please let us know what else, any other direction you want us to go into. If you want us to do what do you call it, fan reviews, if you want us to do highlight reviews and all those kind of things, let us know. and we'll try as much as possible to inculcate that into our future episodes. So once again, guys, thank you. It's been a lovely episode today. Akin, thanks for your time. Thanks for giving me this opportunity to rant, if I can put it that way.
Yeah, same. I enjoy doing
Thanks
this.
for giving me this opportunity to rant.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, that's our show. Thank you very much. Akin.
Yeah, thank you, Yinka. Thank you, everyone. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.